Okay, let's dive into this. May 7th, 2026. Seriously, mark that date on your calendars, because welcome to this explainer where we're unpacking a night that literally delivered some of the most unbelievable highs and, frankly, the most terrifying lows across the entire tech landscape.
You know, the Tekin Night broadcast really hit the nail on the head when they called it a night full of shocks and excitement, because this one single evening perfectly, and I mean perfectly, captured the dual-edged sword of our rapid technological progress. We're going to look at everything today. I'm talking mind-blowing gaming reveals, absolutely catastrophic global supply chain failures, and even historic legal rulings that are going to fundamentally change how we interact with machines from here on out.
So here's our roadmap for the explainer. First, we'll hit those mind-bending hardware leaps. Then we pivot to the global AI supply crisis. After that, we'll untangle AI ethics and the law. And finally, we'll wrap it all up with a fragile horizon.
All right, Section 1, Mind-Bending Hardware Leaps. Let's kick things off with the absolute, awe-inspiring highs of 2026 tech.
Look at the monumental leap CD Projekt Red is taking with Project Orion, the sequel to Cyberpunk 2077. They are shifting from Unreal Engine 5 to Unreal Engine 6, and the stats are just staggering. We are talking a jump from 10 billion polygons per scene to a literal 100 billion. That is a 10x jump in visual fidelity. They're moving from hybrid ray tracing to full path tracing, and honestly, the most mind-blowing part? The NPCs you interact with are evolving from those old, scripted behaviors to fully dynamic neural AI.
But wait, it actually gets wilder. Project Orion is going to feature something called Neural Direct. This means gamers will be able to control their character using a BCI, a brain-computer interface headset. You literally just think about moving and it happens on screen with sub-50 millisecond latency. It's basically complete reality immersion. The fact that they've teamed up with companies like Neuralink and Valve to pull this off is genuinely amazing. And hey, if you're not quite ready to plug your brain straight into the Matrix, don't sweat it. They've kept traditional controller compatibility too.
And this brilliantly illustrates how mobile tech is leaping forward at the exact same time. Qualcomm and TSMC's new 2nm chipsets are packing a ridiculous 280 million transistors into a single square millimeter. Let that sink in. That gives us a 25% performance boost and a massive 40% power reduction compared to the old 5nm baseline. This sheer, raw density is exactly what's going to let your phone run massive 70 billion parameter local AI models and even process live 100-language translation right in the palm of your hand.
Now, Apple is taking this efficiency and just running with it. Their new 3nm battery management chipset drops power consumption by an unbelievable 70%, all while boosting processing speed 5 times over. So what does this actually mean for you? Well, thanks to this hyper-efficient, AI-driven power management, an iPhone 19 Pro Max could theoretically hit 30 hours of high-def video playback. And they don't even have to make the battery a single millimeter thicker. It's a total game changer.
All right, moving to Section 2, the global AI supply crisis. Brace yourselves, because this is where the tone of the night takes an abrupt U-turn from technological triumph right into sudden, catastrophic fragility.
30%. Just pause and consider the sheer scale of that number. On the exact same evening as all those massive hardware announcements, a catastrophic explosion and fire at Samsung's largest facility in South Korea literally wiped out 30% of the entire global reserve of HBM4 memory in one night.
To understand the devastation here, you have to understand bandwidth. HBM4 is the 4th generation of high-bandwidth memory, and it pushes a staggering 2.0 terabytes per second. That speed? That is the absolute beating heart of advanced AI processing and 8K ray-traced gaming. Without this specific memory, those advanced graphics cards and massive AI data center chips, they're just very expensive paperweights. They simply cannot function.
So the real-world fallout was immediate, and it was brutal. The NVIDIA RTX 6090, which was originally supposed to retail for $1,999, saw its black market price instantly triple to $5,999. Talk about a bottleneck directly hitting your wallet. It's a nightmare for consumers and developers alike. And the ripple effects across the entire tech ecosystem? Just severe. We're talking delayed next-gen consoles like the PS6 and Xbox Next, totally unprecedented GPU price spikes, massive delays in building out AI servers, and huge jumps in cloud computing and training costs. Though fascinatingly, SK Hynix saw its stock instantly jump 18%. They basically emerged as the sole immediate winner of this disaster just by being the only reliable supplier left standing.
Okay, let's shift gears to Section 3, AI ethics and the law. Because as hardware and software are shattering these boundaries, society is desperately scrambling to build the legal and moral guardrails to keep up.
Also happening on this crazy historic night, Congress officially passed the Ghost Act. This is a U.S. law that strictly bans the use of AI to recreate a person's face or voice post-mortem unless there is explicit written consent obtained during their lifetime.
The rules here lay down some incredibly strict boundaries for the entertainment industry. Even if you have that prior written consent, there's a hard 50-year post-mortem limit, and close family members still retain veto rights. And if you violate it, heavy penalties. We're talking up to a $10 million fine and 5 years in prison. This immediately triggered the cancellation of some huge projects, like a Paul Walker AI recreation for a Fast and Furious movie and a young Marlon Brando for a Godfather Origins project. It's a super complex debate. On one side, you have fierce advocates for protecting a person's legacy and their family's privacy. On the other, critics warning that this restricts valuable creative and artistic works. But regardless of where you stand, the law has firmly set the new reality.
But, that brings up an even heavier question when AI ethics move off the movie screen and onto our city streets. Who actually takes the blame when an AI makes a literal life or death decision?
This is the modern trolley problem, and a Texas court just had to rule on it regarding a Tesla Cybercab. Imagine this. The vehicle's brakes fail. The AI has fractions of a second to make a horrific, chilling calculation. Option A, swerve into a direct collision with a truck carrying a 30% chance of death for the passenger. Or option B, swerve onto the sidewalk, hitting a mother and a baby stroller with an 80% death probability for the pedestrians. The AI chose the sidewalk. It prioritized the life of the passenger inside the vehicle over the pedestrians outside.
The Texas court handed down a historic ruling here. They hit Tesla with a $15 million penalty. The judge basically stated that by programming an algorithm that prioritizes one life over another, the company has effectively made an ethical judgment. And that cannot just be brushed off as a mere technical error. This ruling completely destroys that old defense shield, mandating absolute ethical transparency from AI developers from here on out.
Which brings us to Section 4. Conclusion. A fragile horizon. Let's try and tie all these chaotic threads together.
So the crucial point is how this single night highlights a deep, fascinating, and frankly scary contrast. We've got the sheer awe of 2-nanometer mobile chips and brain-controlled video games, but it's perfectly balanced against the deeply fragile and ethically messy reality. Think about it. One factory fire in South Korea disrupts the entire global AI hardware pipeline. One congressional law transforms the future of entertainment forever. And one algorithm in Texas decides life or death, holding a mega corporation legally liable for the ethics of its code.
Which leaves us with this final thought. As technology continues to blur the lines of reality and morality faster than we can even process it, are we truly ready to hand over the steering wheel? Thank you for joining me for this explainer. I really hope exploring the unbelievable highs and the terrifying lows of the 2026 tech landscape has sparked your curiosity and given you a ton to think about. Keep questioning, keep learning, and I'll catch you next time.